why is it that one student can start in June, study a grueling 8 hours a day, and, like, barely cross 80% on their board exams?
Yeah, and then another student studies just 2 focused hours a day, and they land well above 95%.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking some truly fascinating insights from Professor Dr. S. Balaji on board exam prep.
Exactly. And whether you are a high school student right in the thick of it or a parent trying to help out, this is really going to change how you look at studying.
It totally flips the script, on what hard work actually looks like. I mean, starting early is necessary, sure, but it absolutely does not guarantee a top score.
No, it doesn't. The difference between that 8-hour struggle and the 2-hour success story comes down to the physical mechanics of how our brains actually learn.
Okay, help me understand this, because if I'm a student listening right now, I want to know exactly what that 2-hour student is doing differently. Like, how do they get better results with less pain?
Well, it starts with what Professor Balaji calls the 5-page principle.
The 5-page principle.
Yeah, so if you have a choice between reading 50 pages of a textbook on a Sunday or reading 5 pages a day for 10 days, most people instinctively choose the Sunday marathon.
I mean, it feels productive, right? Like you're getting a massive chunk of work out of the way.
Exactly. But research in learning science shows that when you cram 50 pages all at once, most of that information simply evaporates within 48 hours.
Wait, really? Is that Sunday marathon doing, like, zero good? To me, it feels a bit like doing 10 push-ups every day versus doing 70 push-ups on a Sunday.
Oh, that is actually the perfect analogy.
Because, well, the Sunday workout just leaves you totally sore and miserable, but surely some of that muscle or information sticks around.
Think about it, though. Your muscles don't actually grow while you are doing the push-ups. They grow during your rest periods.
Oh, right, because they need to recover.
Exactly. And your brain works the exact same way. When you spread that reading out, 5 pages today, 5 tomorrow, your brain cements those new neural pathways during your sleep cycles.
So the Sunday cram session just causes immense mental fatigue without giving your brain the necessary recovery time to physically build the memory.
Spot on. 30 minutes of genuine daily study fundamentally alters your brain's retention, whereas a weekend catch-up just floods it.
Okay, so if those shorter daily sessions actually lock in the memory, I imagine students use that retained knowledge to tackle practice tests. But our source warned that practice can actually trap them.
Yeah, it's a very common trap. Solving past board papers or your standard national curriculum exercises is essential, obviously.
Right, you have to practice.
But the costly mistake is just checking if your final answer is right or wrong, feeling good or bad about your score, and then moving straight to the next problem. Professor Balaji really emphasizes the mistake review habit.
The mistake review habit. So you have to analyze why you got it wrong. Because practice without review is basically like running a race and never checking your time.
That's a great way to put it. You are logging the miles, but you aren't fixing your form.
Yeah, you're sweating, you're putting in the work, but you have absolutely no idea if your pace is improving. If you don't fix the form, you're going to keep making the exact same errors.
Precisely. You have to diagnose the root cause.
But I have to push back a little on the reality of this. Students are already so completely exhausted by the time they finish a practice test.
Oh, I know.
How on earth do they find the mental energy to dissect their failures instead of just, closing the book and moving on?
Well, diagnosing the root cause actually saves them massive amounts of energy in the long run.
Wait, really? How does it save energy?
Think about it. Was the mistake a fundamental conceptual gap? Did you misread the question? Or was it just a careless calculation error?
Oh, I see. So if you have a conceptual gap, you only need to restudy that specific topic.
Exactly. If you constantly misread questions, you need to practice slowing down. If you don't fix that specific root cause, that exact mistake is just waiting to ambush you on exam day.
That makes total sense.
Oh, and a quick tip from the source. Stick to 2 or 3 quality books for this. Using 10 different reference books just breeds confusion and adds to that exhaustion.
Good point.
Oh.
Okay, so let's say I'm reviewing my mistakes, and I realize it's not a calculation error. I actually fell for a trick question.
Right, the classic trick question.
They completely twisted the concept on me. How do I stop falling for traps? Do I need to be reading the textbook differently from the start?
You hit the nail on the head. Most students read a textbook like they read a newspaper. They absorb the broad strokes and just turn the page.
But board exams rarely ask exactly what is printed in the text, do they?
Rarely. They ask around it, They rotate the concept into a weird new scenario. That requires what we call the prediction habit.
The prediction habit. So after reading a concept, you have to pause and ask yourself, how could a question setter twist this to trick me?
Exactly. You have to anticipate.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
It's almost like playing a game of chess against the exam setter.
It is exactly like that.
Instead of just memorizing the layout of the board, you're actively trying to anticipate their next move. Like, what if they swap the knowns and unknowns in this physics problem?
That is exactly what the top scorers are doing. You aren't chasing the end of the syllabus, you are chasing the concepts.
Right, because a student who reads predictively builds a mental library of twisted scenarios.
Yeah, and when a weird question pops up on the exam, they don't panic. They've already rehearsed a version of that trick in their head.
Wow. So those top scorers aren't necessarily naturally smarter. They just make these 3 habits non-negotiable.
Exactly. Small daily consistency, reviewing the root cause of every mistake, and reading predictively.
Well, if you're a student, you have the whole academic year ahead of you to build this playbook. And if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you subscribe to our deep dive for more sessions just like this one to help you study smarter, not harder.
Definitely. And here's something to think about before we go.
Lay it on us.
If you train your brain to constantly pause and predict how a textbook concept might be twisted to trick you, how might that same predictive, questioning mindset change how you consume the daily news? Or, how you interact with the algorithms on your social media feed?
Oh, wow. That is a fascinating question to leave off on. See you next time.